best way to like organize all the information succinctly, but like hit all of the points. It's a lot of information if you're running for everything.
Don't write full sentences.
That's cool.
Do yourself a favor, bullet point it, because that's what the judge is looking for. They're looking specifically for individual points that you guys have done. Like, let's take Connect, Motivator Connect, okay? You guys went, let's say you went through and did a workshop for, like over the summer, there have been some teams that have helped with workshops and stuff. And say you put 10 hours in helping with workshops, okay? Go through and just put one line, one bulleted text saying that, instead of 3 sentences or a paragraph saying, we went through and did this, okay? Because as a judge, we're looking at, we're kind of trying to compare you guys line by line, okay? We're also looking at how many team members you guys have. We're trying to take, say you got a team with 10 people, and then you got a team with 5 people. If this team with 5 people put out 250 hours as far as outreach and stuff like that, and comparing it to a team with 10 people who did 200 or 300 hours, the team that had 5 people is going to, it's going to be weighted differently for them than it will be for the team with 10. Okay? It's, oh, what is it? I'm trying to think of the right word. We try to compare it as equally as we can.
Level the playing field.
What?
No.
Level the playing field is what Ava
We
said.
try to level the playing field as much as possible. Okay? But realize that judging is, I'm trying to think of the different types of names for the process. Sorry, I can't think of the right terms. Basically, you're not going to get the same judging results from every single competition.
It's subjective.
What?
It's subjective.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Objective.
Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate it. Okay. If I'm going through and looking at a portfolio that has design, we're not looking on the portfolio now to go through and see a day-by-day thing. You do not have the space to do that. It's just that simple. If you guys want to put that in your notebook, that's great. We'd love to see it. However, we're primarily judging on the portfolio. Okay? But give us a very brief synopsis of what you guys did. If you go through and bring in, for the design process, if you go through and show the math that you guys used. If you say, okay, we used Pythagorean theorem to go through and decide how we're going to move around based on the geometry of the wheels. Okay, because you got some wheels on some robots are at the 4 corners versus straight, or basically the different type of why you would use that versus why you would use a different type of wheel. Okay, give us the reasons. Any questions, guys? Because this is very generic right now. Yes?
Pictures.
What?
Pictures. How much value is on pictures in that portfolio?
Schematic-wise, it's wonderful. Pictures, as far as showing what you guys are doing, like community outreach, that's great. But if you're going through and putting more pictures in than you're going and putting bullet points and text specifically saying what you're doing, I'm going to go with the person who has more text to say specifically what they did. Okay? But that's me personally. And in general, I will suggest that to judges. Okay? More questions, guys? Okay. What do you guys know about the difference between connect and motivate? Yes,
One is in STEM community and one is just the community overall.
okay, which is which?
I think Connect is the STEM and Motivate is the community.
First, community in general, yeah. Or helping out in your specific community. Who knows the difference between design and innovate? Yes.
Design is more like when you're documenting everything and like the 3D modeling and stuff like that. Innovate's more like you have something unique about your robot that like stands out with the like how you built it and the mechanism on your robot.
The design is the overall design. Talks about the aesthetics of the design. It talks about your design process. Innovate is specifically looking for a single element or elements on a robot that is innovative compared to the other people at the competition. Okay. I highly recommend. That's another thing. I highly recommend applying for any optional awards, like the Control Award, guys. Some of these competitions we've had 4 Control Awards, 4 Control Awards submitted. And if there are 20 teams, there's 16 teams not even being thought about for that specific award. The Inspire Award is made up of all the awards, right? Okay? They're supposed to be the person who's done the best in each category. That being the case, the more awards you're up for, the more likely it is for you to get inspired. Okay, so apply for every single thing and trying to get your name out there for each one. We're also, I'm hoping to talk to some of the coaches and try and get mock judges training set up. I have to talk to all you guys about that. Basically, you guys could talk, hopefully we're going to do that so you guys can talk to your coaches and find out more about the actual judging process. They'll go through and actually act like judges for the day. Hopefully we can get a 2 to 4 hour time period and we can go through the several deliberations processes we go through. We go through initial, you guys have the initial interview with us. After that's done, we go back and talk about everything you guys discussed. However, just be aware, we cannot take outside information about your team that we know and bring it into the judging room, okay? It's like, I know a lot of what specific teams have done with their robot. I can't tell judges any of that, okay? Or if we have a judge that belongs to a team or helps as a mentor to a team, they cannot clarify any misconceptions or anything like that in the judge's room, in the deliberations room. So you guys have to be very specific about what you guys do. And if we have questions, we don't always have time to come back out there and say, to hunt you down first and say, okay, so I need you to clarify. How many hours did you as a specific team work on this outreach project? Or if you worked with other teams on that project, were those hours combined between your team and all the other teams that worked on that project? Or is it specific to your team? Okay, if you guys don't tell us, we can't make the assumption. Okay? Yes?
So the judges are really interested in the quantity of hours, not necessarily what you did with those hours as much. You really need to make sure you're getting exactly how much time you're spending on each thing.
Make sure you get the time in, but it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Okay.
If you've got a team that's going out and helping mentor, say, an FLL team, and then you've got another team that's going out mentoring FLL teams, you'll compare the hours on those and say, okay, well, between, I'm going to pick on Titanium Knights and Masters again, because I know your team's right off, and you're in your uniforms. I can't remember everyone's team name. I'm so sorry, guys, I can't. Okay, I'm going to pick on you again. Say you guys helped an FLL team for 50 hours, and you guys have 8 people on your team. That's basically approximately 6 hours per person, okay? Then you got Masters, who had 10 people on the team. I'm just throwing numbers out, I don't know how many are in each team.
We really do have 10 though.
Okay, so.
We do have 10.
So they got 6 hours per person on their team. Say you guys put 80 hours in. You'd have about 8 hours. Between the two, I'd go for the masters as far as their outreach on that specific thing. However, if they've gone through and done a presentation or a workshop for other teams, or if they do, they go through and plan an event to go through that host workshops, they can put their planning hours towards it. They can go through and put the hours they actually work in the event itself towards it. And say they have the same 8 people, but they put 120 hours in, that's 15 hours per person, right? And let's say the masters didn't have that opportunity. And that's all that they have. This is just a very simplified version because that doesn't happen. As much as we would like to, it doesn't happen. But in that case, I probably give them the Titanium Knights the award for the Motivate award versus Masters. Okay? And that's what we try and do in judging. Okay? Control awards. Be very specific in your control awards. If you go through and, it'd be nice to have the programming in there, but we need to be able to see specifically what your robot can do. And then we go out to the field and see if what you say it can do, it actually does. Okay? If it's not reliable, you're not going to get the award compared to another team that can reliably do what they programmed in. Okay? Yes.
So how do we submit a control award? Because I've seen some teams like make a YouTube video and then they have that as their control award submission.
Okay. Okay. Last year, we had to do the remote judging, and we asked for you guys to create a control award video, and we asked you guys to create a presentation video, right? Okay. We did that because if you guys couldn't be there the day of, or didn't have all of your team members there, you guys could show us the presentation video, and we could judge you based on that information. And then we could call you, have you guys come on, and we could ask any questions and stuff that we have. That was basically a backup, just in case the stuff hit the fan, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay? As far as the control award video, it's helpful to have that. It's not a requirement. Okay? Last year was a very different thing than most years because we did a lot of remote judging, and for a judge to go through and be able to look at what your robot can do as far as control award is significantly better than them reading through your information, because some of the judging was done even before the event. And how do they know that it's going to reliably work? So they're going to go through and give someone wait who actually turn that control award video in, because they can see it working. Okay? Did that answer the question? Yes?
So control award videos are still a thing this year?
I don't know.
Okay. Valid answer.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
If we can meet in person, no.
Okay.
Okay.
So it'll just be like the sheet of paper like
It'll
it's
be
been in
there.
previous years.
It'll just be, and you have to submit that piece of paper.
Yeah.
If you just, last year, if you guys just submitted a control award video, but not a piece of paper, we couldn't judge you on it. If we don't have the application for it, we cannot judge you on it. It's just that simple. Okay? Also, on your portfolio folders, please, 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 please put your team name and number on them. We have had teams not do that. We do our best to go through and make sure we talk to you guys and say, hey, please, just pencil in your number here. Or pencil in your name on this so we can judge you. But if it's not there, we can't. Okay? It's just one of the rules we have to follow. And sometimes I'll come out there, as if I'm judge advising that thing, I'll come hunt you down and say, please, write your number on this. But we can't do that all the time. Okay? Yes?
So, this is possibly a stupid sounding question, but
No.
you
No
mean for
questions
us
are
to
stupid.
turn in bound paper notebooks and bound paper portfolios or online versions of those things?
Okay, last year we had you guys do the online versions. If we're in person, we want it in our
Notebook and portfolio?
both. However, you're going to mostly be judged on the portfolio.
Okay.
Just so you're aware, it's the new standard.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of printing out all the CAD drawings and things.
Yeah. And it is a requirement
What's up?
for every.
Can I
book.
interject something
Yeah.
there?
Please do, Kirby.
So we're talking about the online versus in-person. Along that same line, the inspections, how we did those hybrid last year, we actually plan on doing it the same way this year. So we would like to see your inspections uploaded online prior to each event.
It significantly speeds up the checking process.
That's all I had.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
For when like we're actually presenting, what are the things that a team can do to help you remember them and you actually get to deliberation?
Number one, let us take your picture. And if we don't ask you to take your picture, suggest it, okay? Because realistically, after about 4 teams, I forget who you are, okay? Because there's been so much information thrown at us. There are 6 categories of awards, right guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we have 10 pieces of information for each of those categories. Okay, after 1 team, that's 60 pieces of information, right? 2 teams, it's 120. 3 teams, it's 360, right? Okay, I'm jumping a little bit more, but it's 180. After 180 different pieces of information for 3 different teams, do you think I'm going to remember who's got what?
No.
We take notes, but we're not perfect, okay? And if we can go through and take a picture and look at what the team is, what the robot looks like, we can have an idea of we can take our notes, look at that, and figure out exactly what we're talking about. It helps the time. And we do, okay, thank you. And we do tell our judges to do that, but remind us, we're not perfect. Okay, how close are we?
Others appear to be letting out already.
Okay, so any other questions? We got time for one more question, and we'll call it good. Oh, thanks guys, I appreciate y'all coming and bearing with me on short notice, okay?
Thank you.